All right, we're live. We are live. Okay, pulling up the agenda here. It's gonna be so nice. It's also be nice and also not nice. Maybe we're not gonna meet for another whole month. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know how we're gonna be able to handle it. Like we see each other all the time now. Okay, all right. Well, let's get this meeting started. I'm going to take roll call. Chair Stephen Hanrahan. I'm present. Uh, Frank Chauvin.
Present.
Present. Karen Gall.
Present.
Eileen Johnson. Right there. He will be later. Alex Smith said they were traveling. Stephen Ruckers.
Present.
Present. And Rachel Sheckman said she would be out of town. All right. Three. That's a quorum. 7 p.m. All right. Great. Well, um, so good to see everyone again. We've been so busy. Um, and I guess yeah, we were kind of discussing earlier. Thank you all for your time and effort that goes into this. I'm thanking myself as well because I've spent a lot of work on it too. Um, but it's fun sometimes, it's rewarding, and we're doing good work. We're doing service to the community. We're trying to make people happy, and that's what's important. We have a fairly shorter agenda tonight compared to what we've had in the past. We still have a couple of license renewals that came in, counting one, two, three, four, five, six, seven renewals. They are all present on the tracking sheet um, as well. Where send the tracking sheet around. Um, yes. Yep, we have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. That's right. Five renewals. Ooh, this is request for everyday people. It's a request for renewal. Nope, it's renewal. Okay. Yep, just all renewals. We don't have any new licenses. Um, or substantial ch request for substantial changes. Um, the big update that we had was we had a after hour two um very long or involved committee meetings for that technically was the month of October. At our monthly November ANC meeting, we voted on several we reviewed all the licenses that we decided to vote on, and the ANC voted on quite a lot. There was some that the ANC kind of in the moment in the deliberated on, and decided to not move forward with the protests on. Um, Again, the tracking sheet is up to date. I can drop that in the chat. Then in the chat, tracking sheet. Um, the ANC voted to protest both billiards, Amsterdam Cafe Lounge and Restaurant, Chicha Lounge, East Lounge, Soest, Thirst Lounge, Spark Social House, Game On, VIP Lounge, Posh Lounge, YOLO Restaurant Lounge, MK Lounge, Cloud One Restaurant and Lounge, and District Sports Bar, Prima DC. Um, so we are already going to Skull.
Okay, I know that you were doing a recap of what the ANC did. In comparison to what we did in the committee, do you mind sort of doing like your recap um, to correlate what we done in the committee voted to protest versus what the outcome was for the ANC. If you could do that just for the record so that we'll be clear on what received pushback slash or a change based on what the committee had recommended.
Okay, I think we can do that. Let's make sure I get all the dates right here. Okay, so that was actually the October meeting. Okay, these are the November meeting ones. Um, yeah, um, so the list was just the readout was the ones that the commission ended up voting to protest. So then the ones that the committee ended up recommending to protest that the commission did not end up rec voting on was Kiki, Secret, VIP, the other license for Kiki, El Rey, Nelly's, Next Door, Whitlow's, Shakers, Compass Roses Closed, um, Dakota. Um, yeah, there was a lot of I don't remember exactly what the all the deliberation was about. I think folks were a little tired, a little bit overwhelmed by just like the amount of them, and were just scrutinized a little bit more in terms of licenses or establishments that had a investigative history for more outstanding items,
We took a
complaints.
considerable amount of homework and deliberation and put a lot of work into making these recommendations to we actually did the work. We weren't voting or working on being tired. We put the work in to make sure that we made the right choices. So I'm curious as to the respect of the work that we put in. And I know that no one sits here until 10 o'clock to do the work that we're doing, to make strong recommendations, especially when these establishments that you mentioned has affected the community and we had community input. And to have it just washed away with being tired, I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Miss Call. I mean, I was there, and I think I voted to abstain for any of the ones that the commission seemed like they were going to vote against. That against did not vote against the committee's wishes because um I wanted to respect that work that the committee did. But there also is even more work to do. I think that that work of the committee then falls onto the work of the commission in terms of the protest, in terms of going to the roll calls at 10 a.m. on Monday and meeting and doing the outreach to business owners or meeting with business owners.
But we
And
also have that as a responsibility that was assigned to the committee as well. I mean, we have committee members who are also slated to attend these roll call hearings as well as work within the community. I'm curious as to if that was acknowledged, and I'm curious as to whether or not any of the work that was put in on those recommendations, because we worked and deliberated and also met with community members. These weren't the choices that we make here in this committee aren't just happenstance or because of some emotional energy that or being tired. We don't do that like that. And I'm only curious because I always ask when there's a decision made, what's the reason behind it? And I don't hear a concrete decision that was based on the same amount of work that was put in from the committee right now.
yeah, and again, Ms. Call, I mean, the work of the committee was greatly appreciated. The commission weighed all the work that was done by the committee in all their investigative work, in all of their homework that everyone did to a great, great job. But, the commission does have a final word on the matter, and they weighed all this stuff very well, very greatly. and they weighed other things. They weighed things again to the point about the committee members attending protest. Yes, that is something that is good. It could happen, but I think is something that we haven't quite nailed nailed down super well. It still ultimately falls on the commission to then take on the protest process itself. And the commission weighed all the factors and made decisions and valued the work that this committee has done tremendously and greatly and spent a vast majority, nearly 3 hours of the whole commission meeting on the ABCR licenses that were before us. So I do hear you, and I hate when people feel like they're undervalued and it goes to waste and stuff like that. But I also think a great amount of stuff was done. We have, again, what's our active protest amount here? We have currently active, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18. We're currently actively, ANC 1B is actively protesting 18 different ABRA licenses. Um, that's a lot. That's a lot. So I think we're all doing a lot of work here, and I don't want to make anyone feel undervalued because it's the worst feeling. But I do want to say that I think the commission weighed the information, was very appreciative of it, made its own decision, and there's still more work to do. So there's more work for protesting in terms of the roll calls and the settlement agreements, and there's more work to do. So I don't want to think the work that really goes to waste because there's more work to do going forward.
Well, I want to make it very clear that the community members that weighed in, the committee members representing the community members that weighed in, and the work that went in, and the number of those cases that you did report that was rejected, that was the recommendations of the committee, work went into those, and I don't want it to be unclear at any particular point that those recommendations that was made by the committee was I don't feel based on what I know that we did. I don't feel as though I feel as though it was really inconsiderate. But hey, guess what? You guys, you just stated your point. I heard your point, and I just think that we need to make sure that we're in alignment as to what we're offering to the community. But that's it. That's my final say on that. Thank you very much.
Um, Mr. Chauvin, hand down.
Can you hear
Um,
me?
yeah, you're a little bit garbly, but we can hear you.
Sorry about that. I am driving and I'll be home in a few minutes. So I'm not going to belabor the point, and I appreciate, Stephen, your take and your overview on this. And I don't mean to pile on. I just am going to repeat a theme that, this is tough work on this committee. It's a lot of work. It's always been, but this has been the business of this ANC for 36 years, pretty much, that I'm aware of, as the arts overlay started to grow, and this commission was responsible for the operations and really oversight to make sure that this neighborhood grew appropriately and was established to promote business and to protect residents. And so I would just like to keep brief on this because I've said it a million times and I'm not piling on, but I'm repeating a theme that, this committee and this work before us needs to be resourced in a way that is supported by the commission to ensure that the actors are good neighbors and that neighbors are good neighbors and residents are treated well and businesses are treated well. We do that through settlement agreements. And so a lot of the dismissals didn't have a settlement agreement because they basically didn't have a bad rap sheet. But, however, a lot of this is resourcing, and we are extended because there's 18 protests, as you delineated. But
Mhm.
what can we do further to ensure that the work of this committee and the commission is
Yeah.
better resourced, so we don't have to keep asking every year. So that I know there's been some improvements this year. We're showing up. The commission's showing up for most hearings, which is an improvement and
Right.
greatly appreciated. But what additional measures can we take and resource through money and staffing? So I'll leave it at that. I've said this many times, and I appreciate
Hmm.
hearing back from you sooner than later on this point, because I know that it's important, and I won't let it go on behalf of my community, and appreciate your continuing thoughtfulness on that. So thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, I mean, we, yeah, I mean, I think. We all need to give ourselves, be a little forgiving towards ourselves. I think, the ANC, me, I'm new to this. I didn't even know what a settlement agreement was a year ago. I didn't even heard of that before. Um, so I think, a lot of our commissioners are new. I think we have a lot of resources that we're applying here. Um, but I think a lot of stuff we learned a lot this year. We figured it out. So I think my our plan is, look, we have resources here. Maybe next year, if we don't have as many of these active business renewals to consider, we can maybe then come back to some of those ones that we didn't actively go for the settlement agreement and just call the bar. Call, just then spend more time on the outreach to say, hey, here it is, a settlement agreement. We printed it out for you. Just sign here. It's pro forma. It doesn't change any stipulations in your license. We just want to make sure we have it on paper and have it linked to our website so we can show all the members of the community what's in it. And that's something we could do for next year. But I think it's a good conversation. I don't know if we have resources to do that right now because we have 18 active protests going on, but something to do for next year, which will be exciting. On that topic of next year, we are still trying to do some active outreach to get some new folks, get some new blood in the committee. I know we've got some real great folks, Ms. Gall, Frank, and Mr. Ruckers. Mr. Ruckers, thank you so much for your participation here because you are actively like this is you're working the business and you're here at the meeting. So thank you so much. Um, but I think we're trying to get some more folks to participate next year. Um, Actually, one of them is on the call right now, Eric Olson. Eric, I'm going to allow you to speak. Hi, Eric.
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, glad to be here. I can do my little blurb now if that makes sense, Stephen.
Sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Eric Olson. I'm actually a member. I live in 1B09 and was in 1B03 for a while. Have lived in the neighborhood for around 5 years. Yeah, and just was looking to get more involved in the community. I was a federal employee, got doged, and then have thankfully moved on to bigger and better things. But yeah, looking to get involved in the community, care a lot about the work that goes on, and recognize that the work this committee does is really important for making New Street both like fun, vibrant, but livable and a place that's good for all kinds of people. So excited to be here.
Would you be interested in participating in this craziness, Eric?
Yes, yes, I would. That sounds so fun
Yay!
already.
All right. I know Miss Skull and Frank are so excited to have you too. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Eric. We look forward to I'll be in touch. We'll send you the invite maybe for the December meeting, get you there, logged in, and we'll I think a couple other folks I've reached out to, still going to hear back from, but I think we've had a couple new applications in too, so we're excited to get a couple new members, and get a little bit more, get some new blood and some new energy, and some more resources to keep tackling these tough problems.
Well, looking forward to meeting you, Eric, and seeing you roll up your sleeve and work with our committee. Thank you.
Likewise. Thanks, Karen.
And we have Kate Klein has had their hand up.
Hi, Commissioner. Yes, Kate Klein to be, I think I'm in O1. I'm in Commissioner Sycamore's district. I join this meeting frequently. I also try and join or listen after on the committee meeting. So thank you for the work this committee has done thus far. I recognize that our ANC has the highest number of liquor licenses, maybe in the entire city, and the onus of responsibility. So I can shoot you an email, Commissioner, but I'd love to be part of this commission more formally or committee for next year or as soon as you need me. I do agree with Frank's comment, as well as Ms. Gall, about the resourcing at a broader level. It's very easy for individuals to sit back and lay blame or be retroactive versus proactive when things and different neighbors are not holding up their end of the bargain. So happy to take part in the committee going forward. I will send you an email, Commissioner.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah, I think we've seen your name before, and I don't know if you've participated, but we've seen your name, and we're welcome to have you. I think it sounds like a very reasonable voice to this, so it sounds great.
I'm looking forward to meeting you too, Kate. And where do you live at again? I'm sorry.
I always forget if it's 2B01 or 2B02. I'm in Commissioner Sycamore's
That's a
uh,
one. It's a
district,
one.
right
We are
by,
one. We are one, but yeah.
yeah, right by Cardozo High School. And I've been in the neighborhood for 2 years. And before that, I was in DuPont in 2B versus 1B.
Okay.
There you go. Probably close to where I live. I'm right up the hill I'm like right
Oh,
close to Cardozo.
amazing. I'm on 12th place. So just at the very bottom of Cardozo.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
well, then you're right on my street, down my street. Okay, well, I'm looking
Amazing.
forward to meeting you, and thank you. We always need a lot of robust people, and since you've sat in these meetings, you know we go till 10, so be prepared.
Yes. Keep your craisins nearby. I got a lot of snacks. Let me test out. Okay. All right. Thanks, Eric, and thanks, Kate. We look forward to getting to know you guys better and working with you in December and New Year. Okay. All right. Well, that was great. I'm happy to hear we got some interest. Um, the next, another administrative item. Something I did want to kind of look at is the Noise Balance Amendment Act. I think there's legislation. We haven't really heard if there is a time period to have a statement. I guess it would go to wherever in council that legislation is being considered. I'm not 100% sure.
Even I'll
Um,
touch on that for a
okay,
second.
please.
It was introduced the same day or this within a couple days, about a month ago, in the council, and referred to the Committee on Small Business and Economic Development, chaired by Council Member McDuffie. And they have not been scheduled for a hearing. I have a correspondence out to the staff member on the committee to see if we can get some idea of what the thinking is. I also had a call out to McDuffie's deputy chief of staff, and he sort of is pushing me over to the committee. And I said, well, you represent all of us as an at-large member. That's Councilmember McDuffie. And so some folks in the community would like to meet and discuss this with you. So hopefully at some point we'll have a meeting, but as soon as I hear about a date, I will continue. I will let the committee know if one has been established.
Have you spoke with Kelly, or she tends to be
No,
pretty
deputy chief
responsive?
of yeah, no, the committee, there's a committee person and then the deputy chief of staff. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
Kelly's
I
helpful,
know she's
yes, on
yeah,
issues.
but she's very, very
Yeah,
helpful. But
yeah,
she can sort of push it a little bit easier. That's
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Great. Um, so it sounds like
We
it
have
would
plenty of
maybe
time.
we plenty of time. Okay, that's good. I mean, it sounds like we could
Yeah,
almost do something that's like, please consider this quicker too, but also maybe, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, be plenty of time. That's good. That's what I want to hear. All right. Well, we can bring this up again in our December meeting, and maybe we can have more of like a letter drafted then or something, or uh Yeah, bring it better. December meeting, month into next month. Okay, that almost covers administrative. Oh, the final thing is, again, as actually we did discuss a little bit, the roll call help. Um, if is there, I mean, off the top of anyone's head, is there any specific license? It doesn't, that Frank or Miss Gall, that you have the um availability, or Mr. Ruckers should have the availability to kind of lead some of these protests in terms of showing up at the roll call meetings or the
If you send a calendar around to me, I can sort of give you
okay.
my I can mesh it with my calendar. Is this just for this year or for next year?
So some of these would go, some of these dates are, these dates, roll call hearing. Yeah, December. Oh, yeah, so some of them are coming. I mean, these are coming up right now. It's like basically like every Monday for the next, until
What
basic, like
what
almost
time on
December.
Monday?
Monday 10 a.m.
Oh, okay. That seems workable for me because I try not to schedule my office hours at that time, so that may be really workable. And it's in the on the web X, right?
Recording in progress.
Yes, the WebEx link. Yeah. And that comes from Miss Laverne Fletcher at APCA. Um,
If you have the links ready, I can have them. I'll have my assistant plan it in my calendar, and I'll be
okay.
prepared for whatever
Sometimes,
ones that we are, we are on board to do. And I guess since there was some changes from the committee, I guess I need to see the fresh list again to see which ones we are protesting. If you can have all that together, and I'll just have my assistant put it in my calendar, if that's okay.
okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, great. Yeah, well, maybe Karen can reshare the link. I just shared it in the chat, but um, you should have access to the tracker sheet. And that has the list of the ones are in red. And maybe Karen can reshare that out to
Sure. I'll
you.
jump in. On the tracker are the dates of the hearings. The time sometimes vary. We have to wait until we hear the official word. When we submit a protest, we get the word about the hearing. They are usually at 10 on Mondays. So you can look at the dates and what dates or businesses you want to flag. I'm happy to send along links to, but we have so many, I'm not going to send them all.
Oh, I understand. You know, um, it's easier for me because for some reason I can't copy this information out of this chat. If I could get an email, because I can hit the link, but something's happening on my
Yeah.
side technically. If you can email me to my official email address that I use with you with the ANC, I'd appreciate that,
Okay.
Karen. Okay, is that okay, Karen?
Sure. Sorry, just for clarity, I was working on finding the link. You can't access this. I'm about to drop it in the chat. This, you are unable to access the link of the tracker. Is that what I'm hearing? Or
Well, some no, I was trying to copy it, and for some odd reason, it wouldn't copy. It may just be some tech side, something on my end in
okay.
regards to, and
I
that's the reason why I was trying to get the link information directly. I didn't want to.
It's also at the top of every agenda that Steven sends you. So
Okay,
both
cool. If it's
both
all the same, I'm okay. I'm good then.
are the
Okay,
same.
I
Yep.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for that, Miss Gall. And we can even try and maybe look at the ones that we had on that original assignee sheet and see if those are coming up for protest, and maybe if and send them to you that way. Um,
Now I'll tell you which ones I'm available for, and we're going to
okay.
split. We're still splitting them up like we did, or are you asking just for someone to show their face at 10 a.m.? Um,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, so both. I think it would be great to split up some of them, like alternating weeks. I mean, the commissioners and the commission are also allocating resources and time, and I've included like this other column next to the status, which is the point of contact, which is, I guess, lead for protest. And for some of them, a lot of them, it is uh, my name is coming up a decent amount here. Would love to have another person to alternate on for some of them, especially for the roll calls, too, because it's really the roll call is really just showing face
Right.
at that process.
I figured that. I mean, so I'll just once we I guess we can um once that list shows up, where we need to be present, and and if you have already chosen your dates, then I'll just plug in the ones that I can assist with. Okay.
Okay.
And I'll show up on WebEx and represent as the present, because I know that's all really what you need to do, and then speak on the points that we have listed in the sheet. All
Okay.
right. Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Okay. Frank, final comment on this, and then moving to our new
Yeah,
business
Stephen,
section.
just a 2 points. One this afternoon actually, the SOAST protest was reinstated for both the ANC and the Westminster Neighborhood Association. This is the protest for the substantial change, right? That
Okay.
was already in motion, and that's been, we'd already been to a bunch of hearings, but for a glitch, because of a glitch, ANC was dismissed and Westminster was dismissed, but just today we were reinstated, both parties. So FYI, that's just an important note.
Okay.
Wanted to get that on the record. So,
Okay.
yep,
Yeah, definitely defer to Commissioner Barrio about so does
yep.
this mean we don't need to also protest their general renewal?
Well, see, I think that is not true because I think we might need both, and we can hold the other one outstanding, right? And just attend the roll call because the other one would get a it depends what we can get done with the first one. I mean, because we're in it together, Westminster and the ANC, and it depends what we get done with the substantial change protest and what we can get done uh, as to whether we would need to proceed or we can cancel eventually the full renewal. Right? It
Okay.
depends. So we're just leaving the option open.
All right. Okay. Well, that sounds great. I'm excited to hear that. I think that was,
Yeah.
yeah, it seemed like I heard about the glitch, so I'm glad
Yeah.
that was able to be
Yeah.
resolved.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, great. Um, okay, I'm gonna move into the new business section now. Um, it's I guess these are protests happening, but I guess there are two new licenses. So again, one is the Buffalo Billiards, we talked about quite extensively. Eileen, really taking some points for Buffalo Billiards, the committee as a whole. But I just wanted to bring this up again. We haven't gone to roll call with them yet. I've been on the phone and I met with their representative, and we even have a fairly robust draft settlement agreement. Does the committee here, or I really would like to know if there are other things the committee feels could be achieved or could be asked for or should be asked for as part of this settlement agreement. I heard Eileen saying for 2 a.m. instead of 3 a.m. That's maybe one item, but I don't know if there's anything else. I think we had a robust conversation about the AEA and the commitment towards accessibility. We have that down too, but I just wanted to know if there's any other items. And Eileen isn't
Yes.
here with us tonight, but
Well, I think, we've had the three items. I think it's the summer garden or excuse me, the sidewalk cafe that looks like an accessibility ramp, right? So there's sort of two issues right there. But also the timing, as Eileen, and I'm not sure where Eileen's been in the discussion with you or with the applicant on time closure because that space is a lot different than some of the quoted spaces, the other licensees that have summer gardens. It's a very different space. It's more sort of on top of all the traffic in a way that it's not really closed off and separated like I forget the name, Saint X around the corner, about three doors over. So it's a very different space. But then the other item was that there's a floor plan as made part of the settlement agreement in terms of the pool table use because they seem to have like four pool tables for something they're calling a pool hall. And that seems a little
Yeah,
strange.
they did share that around too, and so they have like
It's
three
like
or four
four.
shuffleboard tables. They have pool tables, then they have actual tables. So they did send the floor plan around.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't live so close to this establishment, but it's a sore spot with the 36-year drive to ensure that there's an arts balance, right? This is the arts overlay, and there's an arts source that has been extinguished there, right? A
Right.
long-term arts source. And so it's a very sore piece of the community and so the what this space is and becomes and that there's going to be 500 people drinking, as a central, means here versus having an art space is upsetting a balance, in the neighborhood for the 36-year arts overlay, but also that 500 people outside a bunch, just about five
Hmm.
doors down from lots of row houses, is concerning to folks. And so I just, I don't know what to do on that part except, ensure that, they have a good operation and it's not just a place where people go and drink and there's an ability to be at pool hall, versus just a place where hundreds, 500 people can come in and drink.
Yeah. I
You,
think
I
as he said, the 500 number is like their fire code, basically. Like 500 people could fit in there if there wasn't pool tables and shuffleboard tables and actual tables and
I
chairs.
my way in is basically my only gripe that I had that was a huge concern was them trying to utilize the ADA ramp as a possible space for people to crowd on as and and because I think that it could be a really good vibrant offering for the community. However, I am concerned about losing the accessibility, and if they're trying to have that summer garden, I don't think that it's possible for that location. Um, Now, in regards to, I've seen Buffalo Billiards in various places. Um, it used to be one all the way uptown that I remember. But then I'm concerned that maybe that as Frank is saying, that this area is not, because it's so noise sensitive in this area, some people may not appreciate it, but it's just it depends on, but that particular area of the block is pretty busy. So, but the residents really need to have more community engagement on this particular thing, Chair. And I think if we hear from the residents and they say that they're concerned about um, the noise levels or any other things outside of that queuing and missing the ADA compliant ramp, I think we really need to, do some more community conversations about it. That's my take on it.
Okay.
So, are they up for? It's a new license. What is it? What's the timeline and that we need to be aware of in regards to this particular license?
Stephen, you
Um,
you attended roll call this morning. Was that
Commissioner Fay, yes,
yes?
luckily the resources at ANC, and our great endeavors to have good communication.
Yeah.
Commissioner Fay was able to attend the roll call, but I'm planning on attending the mediation, which I can bring up
So
here
But
Stephen,
as
but
as
can
you're
you
looking
answer
for
my
that,
question before you go into Frank? I mean, I had a question on the table, Frank. Patiently, just a bit. I wanted to get an answer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Frank, I think I considered Frank's question. So the next step is the mediation, which is going to be December 2nd at 10:30 a.m.
Okay, and so my question was, how can we get more community? Do we need to do some outreach into community to see if you can have some community weigh in, additional weigh in? Because Eileen brought some points up, Frank brought some
Yeah.
points up, and I think that with the ADA compliance and the noise sensitivity, we need to make sure that everyone is really truly being heard.
Yeah. Well, to the point of the ADA compliance. So it does look like they're committed to having they're committed to having ADA. The place is currently ADA compliant, and so
I know it's a wonderful space.
it seemed like from their plans, it seems like they were planning on keeping that. So I think if we can just try to make sure that that is part of their plans in writing or in some commitment agreement, that'd be great. In terms of the community engagement, Eileen has been our main point of contact, and I guess Eileen's neighbors and maybe that. Commissioner Harris has largely vocalized she hasn't heard any other real complaints about stuff from residents in her district. So um, that is that. I plan on reaching out. I'll reach out to Eileen. I'll see if she can even attend the mediation hearing with me to potentially mediate between her and her neighbors' concerns or things they would like to ask for or something, and do that. But that sounds good. But thank you for this feedback. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. And you said December the 2nd is when this is
Yeah,
happening? Okay.
at 10:30 a.m.
And it's via WebEx as well?
It should be, yeah.
Okay. I'm interested in, because I'm really interested in the ADA information. Thank
Okay.
you.
Um, Frank, final comment on this, and then moving along.
Yes, it was actually from the initial conversation here in the before the segue. But Stephen, you acknowledged that the occupancy for 250 persons per floor for a total of 500 is what is being set by the Department of Buildings. We had this conversation last meeting also. All right, that it is important to detail that potentially it might be that's a negotiation point that there's only 150 on each floor because of I mean, what is that space to be used for? And so this settlement agreement should be looking at maybe a 300 occupancy person, 150 per floor versus the 250 per floor based on their use, so that we are in discussions on what kind of density is acceptable, within four row homes, or excuse me, four lots from 50 row homes and more, really. So I just want that point to be on the table during discussion. What is the actual amount that we will engage in the settlement agreement for their occupancy
Okay.
based on the juxtaposed row homes? And that's really an Eileen question, but at least we're having it. We never have that conversation, and it's an important conversation to have. So that's the point I'd like to make. Thank you.
I'm not sure to what degree we can enforce that, but I think it's an interesting point, and we could try and ask for it. Okay. The other item for new business was the Spark Social House. And so I actually just met with them. I think Nick is still on the call. Um, let's see. Hey Nick. Yeah, thanks for being here.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on. Yeah, it was good to show you around today. We also did a walkthrough with the ANC Commissioner for 1B, Miguel. I think both of you have a pretty good sense of kind of how our business works. Again, we're cafe, chill, lounge vibes. We're not throwing ragers. And we have been open for 8 months now as a non-alcoholic establishment. We haven't gotten any noise complaints. We're amenable to any hour restrictions that the ANC would like to propose, whether that be, for our outdoor entertainment hours. We just want to get to an agreement, and we're eager to come to a settlement based on whatever is proposed from the ANC.
That sounds great. Yeah, and yeah, we just met. I think we will try. I'm be in touch with Miguel too. He's busy right now, but I'm going to try and talk to him at the end of this meeting, or if not tomorrow, and try and send you guys something by the end of the week for sure. Um, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I think that's yeah, it's mostly we had there for Spark. Um, cool. Okay. Thanks, Nick. Feel free to jump off if you want to. You've been here enough.
Gotcha. Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right.
Um, all right. Now we go to renewals. So I unfortunately don't have my great our history tracking sheet in front of us, but the first one, but we only have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Why is this not here? Here we go. Everyday people, seven renewals. So it's not a whole lot. It's less than we've had. Um, so I'm just gonna jump into them. Again, so we have had some feedback about Uproar, which is the first one from Ms. Rachel Scheckman, who couldn't be here tonight. But she sends us an email with some of her testimony. Um, I guess my only question here is um actually I just brought up their settlement agreement. Actually, at the beginning it says, oh, application to exchange or exchange. Oh no, that changes their occupancy load. Never mind. Um,
Would you like to read what she mentioned so that it's on record?
sure, let's do that. Um, okay, uproar. All right, I will read what she had to be on record. Good evening, all. So, Rachel Scheckman, I have a work conflict tomorrow, but I want to make a statement on Uproar and Flash, who have already been protested. I live on the 600 block of U Street, behind both Uproar and Flash, DC. Over the last 4 years, for myself and my immediate neighbor, or the neighbor has been impacted by 10 years by this. Neighbors and I have been extremely impacted by the sound of the business which keeps us awake. Sometimes until 3 a.m. We've worked hard to engage with both Flash and Uproar to improve the situation amicably. I've personally spent thousands of dollars replacing my windows, adding window inserts to reduce the impact of bass, and replacing both insulation and drywall on my exterior walls facing the clubs. Still has been an imperfect solution, leaving my neighbors and myself in our residentially zoned neighborhood wondering if we'd be able to sleep peacefully on any particular weekend night. Both businesses have summer gardens. Uproar has no enclosure, and Flash has a retractable glass roof, but the front is wide open. The means to retain base for both businesses is limited and non-possible. I want to direct your attention to ABCA's page on DC noise ordinances. It is unlawful for noise from a nightclub to be heard in any premises other than the licensed establishment at DOB. Sets maximum noise decibels in residential zones at 60 decibels. Let's write this 60 decibels during the day and 55 decibels at night. That is less decibels. Okay, right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. In the past, I've recorded decibels over 70 in my bedroom at 11 p.m. As you all know, enforcement of these codes is flawed and difficult to attain. Additionally, regulations require two inspectors to be available to come on site and enter my home, which I've attempted to arrange without success. The codes do not account for bass, which is the primary issue. Both businesses hire DJs to perform in these outdoor open air spaces, and these DJs often play music with heavy bass. Picture Homes, the only issue we have with either club recently has been related to noise, specifically bass. We've attempted to communicate with them both about these impacts and are often met with denials of responsibility, both businesses pointing fingers at each other. Sometimes they also turn down the music. Other times you've had to call ABCA to initiate an investigation. I have text messages from the owner of Uproar stating they've turned the music on occasion to complete with music competing from Flash, and it also impacts them. We've repeatedly attempted to obtain inspections from ABCA, still due to ABCA staff shortages. They often bypass inspections and instead visit the clubs to request that they lower the volume. This lack of investigative action by ABCA means that Although we can show records of complaints, we have no investigative record or fines to present to you today. We should provide stronger evidence. We've also had both ANC's Fay and Sycamore sit down with owners of Uproar. Since that time, we've filed two complaints for noise due to amplified sound. But we do believe there are times when it is both of them and Flash combined where a complaint was not filed, where the complaint was filed just for Flash, or we went right to the owners to address the issue. We do not believe it's our responsibility as neighbors to remind these businesses of their obligation to comply with DC noise ordinances. Still, it has fallen to us to do so on many occasions due to the owners and their employees' failure to comply with the law. Because neither business has been able to successfully and consistently control its sound, we would like to request the ANC limit amplified sound in the summer gardens for both Flash and Upward to 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays and 9 p.m. on Sundays through Thursdays, so the can close up the rooftop completely. We do not believe there's any other way to rectify this situation this time. Thank you for your consideration and time. Yeah.
Thank you for reading that into the record because these are our general complaints that we get from our community members, and I do respectfully ask that um you know we're talking about uproar right now, that
Hmm.
and I respectfully make a request motion move to that we motion for this make a motion, excuse me, to protest and for peace, order, and quiet and all applicable grounds for this particular establishment. Thank you.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Stephen. Um, the only discussion I guess I would have is um, I'm not so familiar with their existing settlement agreement, but does it say anything about um yeah, it doesn't say so much actually about the noise specifically. It says, let's see, keeping speakers elevated and off the floor, facing speakers towards the rear and not Florida Avenue. Okay, having no speakers in the sidewalk patio.
It really needs
Um,
to be amended for, concise provisions regarding their
hmm
use of their roof deck, right?
Yeah.
So it's really just an amendment, probably, right? So pretty easy to do. However, there's a commissioner on 1B who always is against protesting folks that have an existing settlement agreement. And sort of in that vein, I'd just like to say that potentially after we're done this big renewal period, we start to focus on how to improve settlement agreements to add clauses such as it's called a right to cure period, where we give them 30 days and we put them on notice officially. The ANC does through a stock letter, and therefore it becomes part of the record, and it's communicated to ABCA. And guess what? This puts them on a finer edge to act on behalf of the interests of their neighbors and the community more than ever, because we're creating a history of their abuse of and violations of the law. And so it's something that's very missing, and it's a piece of our process that we don't have, because do we really need a full new settlement agreement, or do we just need to also be better and adopt a right to cure and other provisions to ensure that we do better on behalf of these complaints as the years and months go on after this renewal process?
I don't exactly know what a right to cure is, but Mr. Rutgers put his hand up.
I was just curious if we knew if anyone from Uproar was present on the call.
Yeah, so unfortunately, again, and honestly, I didn't really get a chance to do the outreach to them. Well, no, actually, yeah, with the renewals, we don't get um, with the renewals, we don't get their business information. So what we could potentially do is we could, between the period of the committee meeting and the ANC meeting, we can try and do outreach to Uproar. I think maybe Rachel has a contact there, and we can see about just a discussion to kind of alleviate this or to kind of give them a heads up this protest might be coming. But we did not before the meeting because we do not have their information on the renewal placards that Ab, yeah, that APCA sends out. They only send out the business contact for new applications or substantial changes.
And
Stephen,
I,
remember, I
I
communicated with the chair, excuse me, the director of APCA, Director Misali, and he provided us a resource to help us go into their back end to get the details that are in fact missing that we've been complaining about for years. Remember?
Okay. I'll
So
try and check that again. I know it is
I'll forward
foiable.
that email to you. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be helpful. Thank you. Ms. Call.
Yeah, well, that was also a request that I made and to the director as well, that one, that is never, that should not be, we should not have to go searching and searching and searching. That should be part of any renewal application that comes out. That information should be automatically backfilled in on there. And then also with settlement agreements, because there has to be some adjustments, because we want everyone's settlement agreements up to par to where the community is at this particular time. Not only having an opportunity to make a protest for the grounds of peace, order, noise and quiet, public safety, trash and debris, and any over concentration issues that has been that has arisen recently, and in all applicable grounds. I think that the the newer settlement agreements should have that placed in there as part of the template, so that when we go to do any of the settlement agreements that we've been trying to refresh, which is the reason why all of those ones that were not considered that needed, we need to make sure that everyone has a fresh one, especially 20, I would say 2024 moving forward should have an updated settlement agreement for our establishments. But Bat, I know that we finished with the discussion, and are
I
you
think
ready?
so. Yes. Let's do
Okay,
it.
thank you.
Okay. All in favor of supporting Ms. Call's motion to protest on the grounds of peace, order, quiet, and all applicable grounds? Okay. Oh, the motion passes. There's one. Someone has their hand up in the audience. Commissioner Fay, do you still have your hand up?
Hey, Commissioner Hanrahan. No, the only thing I was going to just comment on was uproar. You voted to protest. No further comment.
Yay. Great. Thanks for being with us. All right. Okay. Moving along. So I'd say, um, well, next one is Bar Pilar. It's on 1833 U Street Northwest. Tavern license, 1B08. They have a 2016 settlement agreement. Um, and um, Bar Pilar, where is this again? This is the one that's next to, no, Bar Pilar's on U Street. I don't even know where this place is, but I don't think I've heard complaints from Commissioner Harris about this. Um, they have an existing settlement agreement. It's a little bit old, but again, I think at the time, and I do hear you, Ms. Gall, about having an updated settlement agreement, but I think considering the ANC, the Commission's last vote of protest, it seems at this time that's not something that is being prioritized. Like upgrades to existing settlement agreements are not being prioritized by the ANC unless there is outstanding violations, or complaints of noise or peace, order, quiet. Um, so unless any of the committee has any further insight, and we can try to bring up the list. This actually might have been on mine. Investigative history list. Whatever that what. I I don't see a particular reason to protest this license. Um, yeah, I think they're a good actor. I think they're mostly a kind of a restaurant too. They mostly serve food. Um, They do have hours of entertainment, though. Um, okay. Well, hearing no discussion, it was a question in the audience. I also believe it's on 14th Street, not you. Maybe you wrote the wrong. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, right. This place is right next to Buffalo Billiards. That's right. Why do they have this address? This is wrong. Maybe they meant 14th Street, not U Street. That's possible. Yes.
Whose list was it on?
I'm sorry. Whose list was
Who
it
had
on?
it as their under their assignment?
It wasn't me. It might have been me. Let's see here. I'm trying to find that list. For some reason, the one that I think it was like when we resent out the list to make it available to people, I somehow lost that link, or it was, oh, Tavern. It's called Tavern List. Here we go. Is this it? Yes, I found it. Okay, great. Okay. Bum, 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 bum. Bar Pilar. Yes. Okay, I did that. Did you have a summer garden? Um, there there is an essay. We found it. Um, it's a small place. There weren't any issues. There's no real late night hours. It's more of a wine bar, and there were no SMD complaints. So I think I recommended no protest. Um, and I think in the interim, though, even I think I've written no essay. We found an essay for them. It might have come up because there were a couple of FOIAs in the process. So, sorry, a little messy about that. But let's see. 1830, 14. Okay. Um, yeah, so I would recommend no protest here. I've never been to this establishment, but it seems there's a pretty good settlement agreement here, and I think if the commissioner has heard any complaints or any reason to protest, but if not, I think we should just keep moving along. The next one is also Cafe Cinex, so it's also right next door, 1847 14th Street Northwest. It's a Sea Tavern. They actually been around for a while since 2009. They're a pretty busy establishment sometimes. There's definitely some activity there. I have been there. Wow, look at this. Brianna Doe, chair of ANC 1B. Uh, has its own room in here. Some history here. Um, yeah, I mean, I think they do have a I think almost like a dance floor downstairs, but it's pretty downstairs. I would defer to some of the residents, some of the local folks. But I think let's see what was on the list. Let's check the list out. This is Cafe St. X. This is me. All right, to research on this. All right. Um, no entertainment in the Summer Garden. They don't have any board orders or investigative history. Um, I think the essay does actually mention quiet. Yeah, it could be a way to update the settlement agreement, but I, I I don't think with any investigative work, I don't see that as being a major component at this time. Um, and so I would recommend no protest. Okay, moving on. We also have Solly's Tavern. Sully's Tavern. I've never been to Sully's either. They've been around, I think, for like a really long time, though. They're quite an establishment. There's no settlement agreement there, but they aren't even really like a really like late night bar. I mean, they have a sidewalk cafe. It goes till midnight. The hours of operation, yeah, 2 and 3. But they really like a pub than any like late night party bar. So. I I I think though they expected not having a settlement agreement, they're probably one of the examples of like a place that's a really good actor without that can their actions speak louder than words, really. And so, they've been around for at least the first like 30 years or something like that. Um, without a settlement agreement, it could probably keep going.
I'll ask, I guess my common question would be whose list was it on? So we'll know if anyone did any additional deep dive research on it.
Good question. It was on Alex's. Yes, Cyber Cafe. No entertainment summer garden. No borders or flags. As it doesn't. Yeah, there's no essay, right? They're missing an entire essay. He did say yes because there's no essay. Um, so we can take that as it will. I do think they've been around for so long that it might be something, if we can just maybe even reach out to them without protesting to try and get a settlement agreement in terms of those
I
that new.
That would be my
Yeah,
recommendation. I think that because we are in this era of time where we need to make sure that the community that has been impacted by the establishments, and we want to make sure that everyone is on the same page. I will continuously say that everyone needs to be under a settlement agreement, not protest, a settlement agreement, so that they have a good relationship with the community. If there's a change in ownership, we won't know what's going to happen. We want to be prepared, and this is preventive maintenance.
Good point.
yeah, and I know personally know Sully very well, and he owns two other venues in the city, so I know he's a big community person just in general. So I don't think he like reaching out outside of. I don't think
Right.
there needs to be a protest and reaching outside of that. I think he would be very amenable to talking and being a part of that. So
Okay. Okay.
I think that
Uh,
would be great for us just to have it on record so that it's filed with APCA that we have a settlement agreement. And as Stephen mentioned, everyone is really great actors. They're doing what they're supposed to do in the community. And this just reinforces that.
okay. So am I hearing a motion to reach out to the owner to try and
Establish a settlement agreement.
establish a settlement agreement, but
Yes,
not
please.
formally protest?
No protests, right? Even when we're in this situation, because I thought that that was the operating procedures of this committee, that we were going to make sure that everyone has a settlement agreement, not necessarily protests. Protests on we'll bring up the grounds of the protest, but in this particular case, I make the motion that we have the establishment called Sully's enter into a settlement agreement with the full ANC.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
second,
All right. All in favor? Please raise your Zoom hands. Great. All opposed?
Didn't have time for discussion, but this is sort of a motion that hasn't been taken. We don't bring to the ANC that we're just asking, taking under guidance that we're moving to enter a settlement agreement. It's usually just done offline or not. So it's sort of not regular protocol that we motion to undertake an offline settlement agreement. I mean, usually someone just does it, right? Or we motion a protest to do that. So that for that reason, I'm just abstaining.
Point taken, Frank. I think we can almost motion we couldn't technically motion for almost anything. Rather, if it means anything, that's separate. And those processes are the processes. But I do think there's something to be said for just a motion to create an action that moves us to do something. And I think there's something said for that. Whether that's, the typical process or within the normal realms of the rules or something or not. But
Which was my point which was my point for bringing the motion forward to create an action on behalf of the ANC to make sure that we at least have it on record that we're doing this particular activity as opposed to haphazardly doing anything. We need things on record.
And
Thank you.
I just like to add one further point here that perhaps that it enunciate that it's because they do not have an investigative record that we're dealing it in this matter. I mean,
Hmm.
isn't that correct? Isn't that an assumption we're undertaking here,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah.
So maybe we add that, and that would be elucidative of treating folks fairly based on operational record.
Point taken for the record. Um, I'll include that in a minute. Great. Okay. Um, Next up we have
That was
license.
2-4 and 1 abstaining. So did the vote carry?
The vote did carry. The motion did
Thank
pass
you.
with 2 votes to pass, one abstention. The next license placard was MK Lounge and Restaurant on Ninth Street. This is the original MK Lounge and Restaurant. That was just 1930 Ninth Street Northwest. We did vote to protest MK on U. I want to add, actually, Commissioner Barrio and I had a really productive meeting with Alan Ebert from the Main Street Business Association. He gave some insight into some of the owners for MK and some of the other owners for U Street. I think some of the owners are on a call this evening. Um, I Let's see where MK was in our list here. Restaurant Lounge. Eileen, there is no settlement agreement with them. Uh, I do think there's been some concerns of noise um, coming from them. There's been some investigative work, and I think we should choose to protest their U Street location. Um, there's a lot of concerns of trash. The MK is near the alley with 9.5 Street, where Alex Smith and some of the other neighbors are there. There is a lot of concerns with trash there. Um, and so I think this might be one. I think we chose to protest some of these others to deal with the trash. And I think based on that consistency of not wanting to be arbitrary, one, they don't have a settlement agreement, and two, because of these outstanding trash concerns and trying to come up with work towards a solution for this area.
I would like to make the motion then, Chair, if you
Okay,
don't.
please, Ms. Gall.
I would like to make a motion to protest on the grounds of peace, noise, order, quiet, public safety, trash, and debris, and all applicable grounds.
I'll
Thank you, Ms.
second
Gall.
that.
Any further discussion? Great, hearing none. All in favor? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Fantastic. The final placard. Oh, no, two more. Uh, Next placard is for a place called Asufu's Palace. It is also located on Ninth Street. Their address is 1920 Ninth Street Northwest. Some location. I believe this place though it is a restaurant, and I think they might even share this same address with another business here. So let's see. So Appio, video process.
It's shared with Mirror Lounge, which
Hmm.
Mirror Lounge has the second and or first and second floor, and a Seifu has the basement or terrace level
Okay.
at
Okay.
1920.
Okay. Okay, got it. And let's see. Mirror, I think Mirror was one of those that the ANC did not choose to protest. I think we've heard that they actually were better about their garbage than some of the other actors there.
I'm
Maybe
not
I'm wrong.
certain of that. I'm not certain of that. I'm not. I'm really unsure about that because backside neighbors on 9.5 Street have a lot of problems with the
Oh
upstairs
yeah.
neighbor not spoken about here in front of us. And I'm not certain that Mirror has come before us yet. I think it's
Hmm.
still pending. So, um,
That's right. Maybe Mira hasn't come before us yet.
yes.
Yeah, that's probably it. I honestly, I have to be honest, I'm getting so confused with all these places on 9th Street. I mix them all up. But that is correct. And I think there has been a lot of outstanding problems towards Mirror. But I don't think there's been outstanding ones towards Asifu themselves. I haven't heard any specific ones about Asifu, but I have heard a lot of stuff about Mirror.
Specifically, there's a specific address at on nine that has been causing an issue with 9.5 street, not 9th Street. It's because of an egress issue in
Hmm.
which they
Hmm.
can't clean. There's a lot of dumping that they can't clean behind their homes consistently because of that. And so it's a work in progress where the neighbors are coming together to do some cleanup. There's the fire marshal is involved in regards to trying to make sure that this egress issue gets resolved because it's very dangerous for any persons living there. Not only do you have the rat burrows that's burying that trash underground, plus you have the possibility of a danger of a fire hazard along with the dumping. So the
Yeah.
responsibility of all of the establishment owners that's um, behind 9.5 Ninth Street, they need to be much more responsible. So I don't know specifically what if there's no settlement agreement. I do just that and there's no investigative history of any violations. I would just recommend, just like we just did with Sully's, the most, that we do
Hmm.
have an established settlement agreement with this particular location. Not recommending a protest, but recommending that the ANC has a settlement agreement in place, especially knowing that there is a considerable issue with trash, the debris on the grounds of. I'm making a motion to recommend a settlement agreement that has the specific information about public safety, trash, and debris, specifically around that particular area. That's my
Okay.
request.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Gall. Do I hear a second?
A second.
Thanks, Stephen.
Conversation.
Yeah,
Um,
discussion.
1920, I'm sorry, in 2022, they had a cease and desist order for operating without a liquor license.
Mm.
And so, based on a investigative record, and for the same reasons Karen said, I would sort of like a protest. However, I'll defer to getting a settlement agreement. I don't know whose list this was on. It might have been on mine. If it was on mine, I did a
Might
research.
have
I
been.
did search, and for some reason, I have this order from 2022 in my file. But yes, ditto Karen's remarks. They are a contributor and a user of the back alley that's atrociously, incompetently managed and not managed, and a menace and nuisance on the entire neighborhood for blocks. So we definitively need some serious neighborhood agreement, settlement agreement with these folks.
And the main culprit of all of this is a condo that's located at 1936 that has the egress issues they have two walls that are blocking the accessibility, and it's not the establishments, but the
Yeah.
establishments are contributing to the dumping and allowing the dumping to occur. And we need to have everyone that is has an establishment, everybody on that block working together to ensure that the neighborhood is taken care of. And so that's what we want to see happen. And so this is why I recommended the settlement agreement for each one of those establishments from the corner of Ninth and U all the way down to make sure that they're being responsible actors for the community. But thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Do we know if there's an update with that building? I mean, this is a big concern, but it is a major issue if there's like an update with them.
Can you repeat that question, please,
Do
sir?
we know if there's an update with 1936 nine and a half
I
Street?
do know that I've been actively working with the 9.5 street neighbors
That's good.
personally, and I have the fire marshal has made two visits, and then we also have had some cleanups that occurred, but we need to have those walls permanently removed in
Mm.
order for the people to have the accessibility that they need, and so that they won't be putting people's lives in danger. So not, and then also we do need to make sure that the establishments do not contribute to dumping items and trash and all types of things that contribute to the rodents, the grease, the nastiness that is happening, that
Yeah.
is completely a public health and public safety issue
Yeah.
behind that area.
It definitely is the nastiness. Okay, well, given that, Ms. Gall, do you want to consider amending your motion to a protest motion
I'm
or
not
leaving it
I
as a
don't
motion?
I think that we should have a settlement agreement, and this has been my recommendation that the ANC takes a very proactive approach to not only have the settlement agreements with the establishment owners, but also any parties that is located from that entire area. That we need to make sure that there's a good community agreement that everyone keeps that area clean.
Yeah.
So I just think a settlement agreement would be great. That way you can enforce it according to the needs, especially since we don't have a track record for this particular establishment. That's my
Okay.
recommendation, but the committee can weigh in. I'm open for suggestions if necessary.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'll just say that I'm fine with the settlement agreement on the side approach since they only have which is a serious investigative history regarding serving alcohol without a license. However, that was 3 years ago. Hopefully, we can sort of utilize that past as a way to coach them into being a better neighbor based on that history. But since they don't have any other problems, I'm happy not protesting because I know our hands are full. And
Mhm.
so would be happy just with the most supporting Karen's motion.
Okay. All right. All in favor? All right. The motion passes. Great. Okay, the final one was just sent out a couple hours ago to us. So it wasn't formally added to the agenda, but the place is it's on the tracking sheet. Thank you, Karen. It's called Everyday People DC. They're located at 1013 U Street Northwest. Oh, Mr. Rickers. Or maybe he's from voting. Okay. Um, they're at 1013 U Street Northwest. I asked Francois about this. He says he thinks they're a new establishment. Um, their hours of entertainment go a little less than hours of operation. They look very small. And the reviews are actually really good. If that means anything. Like on Google, I don't know, everyone's, like saying they love this place, it's good vibes. It looks like they play hip hop and they spin vinyl and they are kind of like an ode to the mid 2000s or something like that. There's also food here. It seems like good vibes to people. Um, we don't have a settlement agreement, potentially another place to have one. Um,
Well, Chair, can I recommend that we do keep keep what everything all in accord and in alignment? That because it sounds like a fantastic location, as you mentioned. It's always great to have a good opportunity to meet with the owners, have a established settlement agreement as for the community and other for the ANC, that they know exactly that one, we appreciate their efforts, and we want to make sure that we always stay in alignment. And since they are an alcohol serving establishment, we want to still let them know that, hey, we're here to support you, et cetera, just like we mentioned earlier. So I would make a motion that we have the full ANC establish a settlement agreement with everyday people.
okay. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Yeah, I mean, I support this. I think yeah, as I think as Frank said, yeah, the settlement agreement on the side approach, um, it's a little bit more adding some trust there. But again, I think if there isn't these outstanding investigative history things, our hands are full. If there isn't, really specific grounds for protest, but it's something, it is our goal, then yeah, I just think that, um, you know, maybe it could be a topic for discussion for further committee meetings about, just ways to best do outreach to all the businesses. Like, because again, like we don't have, I mean, we could ask for their number from FOIA for the number from ABCR and try and get their contact information. Um, but like, I guess they do have a number on Google we could call. So I guess it's just a matter of like,
This
you know,
engagement is part of your
the
engagement
engagement.
process in which the ANC should meet with the establishment owners. Hey, let me let you know how we are doing business in the area, and we appreciate that you've been doing such a great job so far. This is what our settlement agreements look like, and
Right.
we want to make sure that you are on board. Do you think that this is something you would like to sign? Right away so that we can put it in our records to know that you are going to be and you are going to stay in alignment with the way our community is working. That's it. It's nothing. It shouldn't be a hard ask if
Yeah.
that was their intentions. And I
Right.
and so and then also it keeps it connected to the community, and the community, if they have any issues, they can always go back to it and say, hey, let's keep ourselves on track. That's it. I
Okay.
don't think it should be hard.
Yeah.
It's not a protest. It's
Right.
we just need to have settlement agreements for all of the establishments so that nothing gets out of order, or everything can just stay in order.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Okay.
So
Um,
I'll make that motion. Or did I
okay.
already make?
You
I
did.
made
You
the
make the
motion.
motion.
We voted for it already,
Any,
right? So
we didn't vote for it yet. We didn't, on the last
okay.
one, we didn't vote for it, but any other discussion? All right. Let's call to vote. All in favor of supporting Ms. Call's motion? Okay. The motion passes.
Stephen, before you wrap up, is that it? Because I have just some old business.
That is it. That is it in our new business. 90
Well,
minutes. We're around 90 minutes so far, which is a record right
but
now. So,
and
but
I
yes.
know I didn't my stuff was still on the table, and Frank, I didn't want to overshadow what you're about to say, but I had gramophone, Guion,
Mm.
and Los Cinco's tacos. I'm wondering if
I think we talked about a taco place at one point.
I didn't hear that tonight, but I don't know. Maybe you might have went past it. And my only thing with I just would gramophone, if you haven't already done that, which is at 647 Florida Avenue. I just wanted to make sure that the my recommended action was just to monitor it for noise complaints. given that we have that the residential conversion and nightly entertainment that they changed into. And I don't know if that's still on the plate of the ANC. I just think that it needs to be monitored with a settlement agreement. It's a newly opened. Um, it was converted from residential apartments to a two-level lounge, and with nightly DJs and a disco, techno,
Mm,
strong cocktail focus. I don't know
yeah.
where did that come up already, or did I
It
miss that?
hasn't come up. It hasn't come. I don't think it's come up. I don't think their license has come up. That's a
Okay.
good flag. That's a good flag.
Yeah, that's
But
out of the ones on my list. That particular the ABCA license, the ABRA license number is 120317.
okay. Yeah, I
Just
don't. We haven't gotten it yet.
okay, and then also we had the you said the tacos place, the Gion Restaurant and Lounge at
Hmm
10 Ninth Street Northwest.
hmm
I did not have anything that came up. I just want to make sure that everything was properly licensed in regards to the lounge, and make sure that it just, I didn't have a settlement agreement on in place, and I'm not sure if you might have had that, but I didn't track one. But
Okay.
I just think that they should go through. No, I didn't have any red flags come up for that location, but I do believe that we should put that settlement agreement in place just to get them on board. And then also Los Cinco's Tacos, I was recommending that they're located at 711 Florida Avenue. I recommended that they have their renewal. It's a standard renewal, and just basically nothing flagged out. I just want to make sure that their hours and their outdoor seating was in compliance. No community issues was flagged, but I think that it's great to have the settlement agreement in place. I'm asking this ahead of time if you haven't already brought these things up, because I had it on my list and I wasn't clear if it was bypassed. But those were the only ones, Chair. If you can just I'll go back to it if you need me to go back to it in another meeting. I didn't mean to bring it up before the old business, but I
Yeah.
just want to make
Thank
sure
you.
during the
No, thank you,
meeting.
Ms. Gall. I just wrote some notes there with what you said in our little in the sheet here.
Hmm.
Um, I think we talked about Los Cinco's at one point. They're the taco shop the next to
Their address is Los Cinco's
yeah.
is 711 Florida Avenue.
They're
It's
next
in
to
1B02.
The Cabo Deli, I think, and I think that's why that might even they don't have seating outside or anything. I think their license is basically just tied to the Cabo Deli. But I did wrote
Um,
down,
you said they don't have outdoor seating. I just wanted to verify their hours in outdoor seating compliance. I thought they had
yeah,
outdoor seating.
not that I know of. No, it's just like a small place to definitely not on the street. I mean, maybe on the rooftop. I don't think so. I don't think they
Okay,
do.
well, if you don't notice it, I mean, I just wanted to make sure. I just had them down for routine monitoring, which basically was my cue to ask to see if they just can have a routine settlement agreement,
Yeah,
like what we were
yeah.
discussing.
Yeah, I think that the flag for gramophone is really important. That's really great. And thank you for that. We haven't gotten that settlement we had that placard yet. I don't even know. Yeah, I wasn't even aware they exist, and maybe they're causing more noise and uproar. We don't even know. But
No, I didn't. No, I didn't say that they were causing noise. I was just saying that we want to monitor it for noise complaints, given that it's a
okay.
residential conversion.
Hmm
And it's been converted from a house, I mean a set of apartments, to a boutique lounge with a nightly DJ, disco and techno, and strong cocktails. Okay, that's what I know, and I just want to make sure that it's monitored for the noise complaints,
Okay.
given that it is a residential conversion, and it has nightly entertainment, and because it's we need to look at it in the evening time to see if we can visit it to assess any noise issues,
Okay.
especially since it's a new venue and I want to watch out for neighborhood complaints. I did not
Okay.
catch any during, but I had it on my list to go down there and visit it at
You
night
want
to
to check out
see.
their strong cocktails?
No, no, sir. No, I'm not interested in the cocktail. I'm interested in checking for the noise. I always do a roll through to see what's going on in regards to the noise and just to verify what's going on from the neighbors.
That's a
That was
good
just
flag.
part of my investigations, and this is again, I just thought it
Okay.
was going to come up tonight. I had it on my list ready to roll, but you
Yeah.
didn't call it.
Yeah. Did we didn't get it? Yeah. Thank you, Miss Call.
Okay. And thank you, Frank, for your patience, but that was it. That was my new business, but I guess now I'm done. Thank you.
Two pieces, two items. I was wondering. I see Keaton Fedak on the attendee list. I was wondering if he might take a few questions on some operations. We had some questions stemming from the Dirty Goose and whether there was a old settlement agreement or not that has now been bought out by MK Lounge on You, and whether there was an existing settlement agreement. We haven't sort of closed that loop, and so if Keaton's around, could answer a question, and then also about a closure going on the 900 block of Florida Avenue. Keaton, might you take a few questions on these?
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you have a settlement agreement with the ANC for Dirty Goose that might have then transferred to the new ownership on MK on you?
I do not, I can't speak for MK, but there was a settlement agreement when I was at Dirty Goose, but
There
um,
wasn't?
there was a
There
settlement
was.
agreement at one time, but I believe it changed when political patties was there for a very short time.
It
So I'm not,
transfers with the license, right? So the settlement agreement does. So yeah, I just wanted
I,
to confirm the existence that there was one with Dirty Goose, and that one should then have been with political patties, and then it also transfers to MK on you because that was the
I,
sequence of ownership.
Okay.
yeah,
Thanks, Frank.
yeah,
That
I'm
would
not
be
sure
yeah,
about
it
any of
would that
that.
would be Abka's responsibility, but
Right.
that's helpful information, Mr. Keaton. Thank you for
And,
that.
and my other question, Keaton, I understand that Shakers is sort of ownership is moving from Shakers.
Uh,
That and then there might be something going on with that license. Do you have any details you could share on that?
yeah, I purchased Shakers
Okay,
this past Friday.
okay, and so will remain the same name.
For the time being, for the until the new year, that yes.
And do you know, is there a settlement agreement with Shakers?
Yeah, I believe there was a shuttle settlement agreement signed 2 years ago.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Mhm. Yep.
Thank you, sir. And then my other item is just with respect to the streeteries and the fact that most of them are going away. I'm not sure who's staying within our corridor 1B, but it seems the process and none of that has really come before the commission. I think most streeteries go just before the transportation committee. And therefore, I don't think we've ever seen any licensing or endorsements for what goes on those streeteries. So I just like to ask that we're aware that I think there's a process that we might need to hone and review some of this because we haven't in the past. And I know that some of them can be problematic with noise, just like roof decks or summer gardens, and just
Hmm.
like sidewalk cafes. So a conversation down the road at some point as might be necessary here.
It
Okay.
was a conversation that was held with the Transportation and Public Space just this
Hmm.
past meeting, and we had the conversation where that I made a recommendation that we have the ANC enter into settlement agreements under any streetery, any establishment that has a streetery, and from what I understand that the streetery, as you mentioned, Frank, it should be meshed along with the summer garden. But because it's a specific thing under DDOT, we will have to find out how APCA is going to play a role in the streetery enforcements, oversight, etc. But it was brought forward under the ANC 1B's transportation and public safety meeting. We've been having a very good dialogue about that, as well as a resolution that was written that was just passed recently under ANC 1B that I know I wrote. So I know that that was done. So I certainly think, and then we also are still having additional discussions. So I don't know how that is going to be weighed in under your committee of the whole for the commission, but I'm in agreement with that ask.
Thanks for that context. I think that's an important thing to know in the future. I think there's a lot of debate about the streeteries going on with their future, so I don't know if DC government knows what the future is going to be, but that's something to
Yeah, because I think
plug into.
just offhand, I think there is in fact an endorsement that
Yeah,
must
there.
be
Yes,
applied for
correct.
by ABCA, but ABCA seems to sort of not come through our channel for that endorsement, right? So we review all other endorsements when it comes to alcohol, but this one sort of seems to have a its own little world to be treated worldly differently. So
Hmm.
it's just something to be aware of, not spend a lot of time, but as time allows, we can figure that one out.
Yep. Thanks. Um, Thank you, Keaton, for being here. Then we have two other folks on the call, Tayacha Inu and Daniel Hagos. I just wanted to bring you guys the chance to speak. I believe you might be owners of places we've discussed here in the committee prior. I don't know if either of you are still actively listening, but you can unmute and speak if you would like to introduce yourselves and discuss your businesses.
Yeah, this is Daniel Agos. I've been in contact with you guys with the emails or talking to you personally
Daniel, are you the
about
owner of Posh Lounge?
yes, Spa
Okay,
Lounge.
okay,
Yes,
okay.
I've been in touch with you guys for a while, just
Okay.
listening and what I can do to help you
Thank
guys.
you.
You know what I mean? Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. Yes, and I just want to say we had a meeting with Alan Ebert. He actually spoke praises of you. Um, but I think there is a lot of the nastiness and the concerns there, a lot of big concerns, but I'm glad you're reaching out, and I think we'll defer to like get Commissioner Mario and some of that process there for trying to have the best solution for Posh and for 9.5 Street, the alley. Thanks for
Yeah,
being here.
yeah, I did personally clean
What's your
everything behind that
address?
area.
What's your address?
1924.
1940?
1924.
Okay.
24.
24.
1924.
Okay.
Yes, there
Okay.
was some
Yeah.
complaints and behind our building, but I tried to reach out all the other owners around that area because it belongs to multiple business.
Right.
However, I took my initiations and then I cleaned up all the place. And I sent an email to all of you guys. I work with Mario, all the other
I
neighborhoods.
think for the email, I didn't get the photo attachments didn't quite send
It
over.
didn't go through. Yeah,
Yeah, it
okay.
didn't go through, unfortunately. I would really like to see those. If you could send that
Yeah,
again, that could be
I will.
helpful.
Send that.
Sure.
I want to send what you've done. I want to see what you've done too, because I've been trying to make sure that that all of the proper people have been aligned with that cleanup effort, and I do appreciate you doing your part. Um, as you mentioned, your neighbors next to you also need to do their part as well. It's not one person only. So
Mm-hmm.
and the focus has not been on your particular location by itself. It's the entire block.
Yes.
So just so you won't feel uncomfortable that anyone is just honing in on you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because we know that, but we do want to make sure that you are responsible for what goes on behind your location because we can focus there, and also any rat abatement, any type of cleanup that you can do more than just one time. We need to have it done consistently. that would be very, very helpful. We do understand the dynamics of what it is that you have to go through, but we just want to make sure
Hmm.
that everybody is on board. So not only do we want you to take a proactive role, please also help work with your neighbors who you have a good relationship with to encourage them to do the same. Okay?
Yes. No, I'm doing with the business owners also, with the neighbors like Mario, Lewis, and all the other people behind us, and
Mm-hmm.
we are keeping in touch, and we are really direct contact. Not only the behind, but even I'm trying to do the front area too on the main street. So
That's
that's what I'm
great.
saying. Yes, yes. So
That's really good. That's really good. Thank
yes,
you very much, Mr. Daniel Hagels.
no problem.
It's highly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yes. So that's why I'm attending all those meetings every time I get a chance. So
Thank you. Yeah, it's noted. We
all right,
noted that.
perfect. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think the other folk hopped off, but okay, I think that that might conclude our meeting. This has been great. A little shorter than normal, so that's awesome. Yeah, we have 18 protests going on, so there'll be kind of roll calls kind of happening every Monday, basically 10 a.m. Uh, essentially until January. Um, we'll reach out. We might help. We'll have to take off that offer, Miss Gall, for some of those roll call. If you can attend some
Yeah,
of those, would be great too.
and I mean the link and just a I and this is just what's helpful for me. Just a calendar invite with the link in it, and I'll immediately have it pushed in. But I don't want to strain you to do that. But I think that that would be helpful in regards to communicating, not just for myself, but any of the other committee members who you need to go to these places. If it's stuck in a calendar invite, just like you guys do with our meeting reminders, it would be super duper helpful.
Noted. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'm tired now. I'm gonna brain's shutting off. But thank you guys. Great to meet again. There's an ANC meeting on next Thursday. Um, or the Thursday, yeah, December the 4th. We'll be voting on these items there. Have a great Thanksgiving. Great holidays. And then I think our next crew meeting is the 18th, maybe. We'll have to check that out. This is the night before my
Oh,
birthday, so I
I'm not
might
going to be available if it's the 18th.
I might not
I
be
just
available either. Yeah. So if there's a change, I know we said we won't move it, but we'll reach out via email.
yeah, December the 18th I'm booked, so I just want to
Okay.
give you a heads up just in case. I've given you all my
It's the
stuff that's
17th. The
The
17th
17th. It is the
is yes.
17th. It's the 17th. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I apologize. The
oh,
17th.
thank you, Frank. I look,
Yeah.
that's super helpful. I can probably make that one, but I definitely can't make the 18th. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay. Good night, all. Thank
Good
you.
night. Thanks.
Good night. Have a nice night.